Hey guys, Dr. Jim Stoppani here, and in this video I want to cover a little bit of math when it comes to ProGym and when it comes to protein blends in general, protein blends that are out there being sold on the market. Now, I've said this before, so for those of you who get it, I apologize for harping on the same thing, but this is for those people who really don't understand the difference between percentages and actual real total grams, okay? If you look at ProGym, right on the front of the bag, I list that each serving of ProGym, which, by the way, on the back of the bag under the supplement facts panel will show you that there are 24 grams of protein per serving. Right here on the front, I tell you what those 24 grams are composed of. This is a blend, and remember, blends have been found to be superior to just plain whey protein. 7.5 grams of whey protein isolate. This is a very high quality whey isolate. 7 grams of micellar casein, 7 grams of milk protein isolate, and 2.5 grams of egg white protein. That all adds up to 24 grams. That way you know the 24 grams I say on the total protein and the grams from each of these protein sources adds up. You know what you're getting. Now, I know I've had this tested. Labs have contacted me who've independently tested and said, just want you to know that your protein hit right on everything that you said. 24 grams is in there. But then I get a lot of people saying, well, you know what? I can go get this protein blend, which, tells me that it lists percentages of each of these types of different proteins. Well, I have percentages listed on the back as well. 50% casein, 40% whey, 10% egg protein. And so these other companies have similar breakdown. And they say, well, it's the same thing as yours, right? And I say, well, no, because they don't tell you. They only tell you the percentages. They only tell you the percentages. Now, you got to think about that, right? You say, well, let's do the math. Mine is 24 grams, so let's make the math easy. Let's say that it was 20 grams per serving that a protein company claimed on their label. And they said, well, it's a blend of whey and casein. And it's 50% whey, 50% casein. And you said, well, if it's 20 grams, that means it's 10 grams of whey, 10 grams of casein. Or if there's egg protein in there, let's say it's 40% whey, 40% casein, and 20% egg. And you would say, well, it's 8 grams from whey, 8 grams from casein, and the remaining 4 grams comes from egg, because they say it's 20 grams and then they break down the percentages. Well, not necessarily. You have to ask yourself why they're not telling you those numbers. Why they're not listing that they're only listing percentages. And what it comes down to is there may not actually be the full grams of protein that they're claiming on their supplement facts panel, which is why they won't tell you the exact grams from each protein source. They only tell you a percentage, because they might be listing 20 grams per serving, but it's only 15 actual grams per serving of protein that you're getting. So, but out of that 15 grams, it's a 50%, or a 40% whey, a 40% casein, a 20% egg. They're not telling you the exact grams from each of those proteins. That's when you have to stop and think why. I cannot list any brands or products because what they'll do is sue me. Instead of stepping up and making better protein, they'd rather just sue me and spend their money on legal action versus making a better protein. But I can tell you that I've seen some disturbing data on protein blends claiming percentages that aren't telling you the actual grams per each of those protein sources. That's why I'm proud to list mine right there, right on the bag, And like I said, it's the only one that does that. The other ones will only go as so far as to tell you the percentages, which I also happen to do if you want to see the percentages. But why aren't they giving you that upfront total numbers of each gram of each protein source? Why? It's a really good question. Like I said, based on some of the data that I've seen, I know why. Don't be fooled by low quality protein blends. You're getting screwed. Do yourself a favor, stick with the one that lists everything on there that's been tested, that you know you're getting exactly how many grams of protein, total protein per serving, and how many grams from each different protein source. Anything else, you're on your own. I can't tell you what the quality is. So it's your own risk. Stick with Jim, and you know you're good to go.